Hi Ecotex, this is Lauren here. I'm giving you a video tutorial today on our new requisition process. After we go live with this, we're not going to have paper requisitions at the nurses station anymore. You're just going to be creating the requisition in Ramsoft under the documents area here. And you'll still have to look at the order and make sure that everything matches, but you're not going to have to find that requisition at the nurses station anymore. And the nurses aren't going to have to fill out the requisition anymore because you're going to do it along with it being automatically generated from the information that we enter into Ramsoft here. So let me start off real quick by saying once you get your images loaded into Ramsoft, you may have it in the scheduled status or the completed status. Either one, whatever you're used to, you can stick with your process there. But you want to make sure that you check your study info first and just make sure that all the information is correct. If you need to fill out any areas or fix anything, then do that now. So you want to do that before you create your document. So to create your document, this is going to be the patient registration form or requisition, called a bunch of different things, but we're used to it being our requisition. So we're going to click on the document icon over here. It may be white, it may be blue, whatever color it is, it's okay. We're going to click on it. Okay, and from here, what we can see is that we have some templates that are open. Now, if it doesn't automatically open to the templates for you, just make sure that you look through your options down here and click on templates. Select that first. Now up here, your different templates that are going to come up are your Echo worksheet, which your care coordinator may have already created this for you before you went out in the field and printed it out for you. But in case you need it again, it is here, and you could double click on this, and you could create or edit your Echo worksheet. But today we're going to focus on your requisition. So you are going to look at your requisition area here, and if this is for RMX or DXSB, it's just going to say RMX instead of DXSE here, or it'll say DXSB. But for right now, we're under the DXSE work list, so that's why this is showing up as DXSE requisition. So I single clicked on it, and this is what comes up. Now, in order to actually generate the report or the requisition, you're going to double click over here. It's really important to double click on it and then let it load. Give it a minute to load. Now that it's loaded, it says DXSE requisition at the top, and we're ready to go. So you'll see over here that it's no longer on templates. It's now under patient documents because you've started this and you've created it. It's not going to be saved until we are finished and we save it, but for right now we're going to take a look at this. So let me explain to you a little bit about what this is. So you're used to our regular requisition. This has very similar information on it. A lot of this is generated from the information that is pre-entered in the patient info and the study info into Ramsoft, and your header here is generated from whatever site you're logged in under. So whether it's DXSE, DXSB, RMX, your template should be automatically chosen up here. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. Now the patient information and the referrer information is automatically pulled onto this requisition from the information entered in Ramsoft. So you want to be careful if it says Dr. Fix Me, and you have the correct doctor now. Just make sure that you can change that. So you could just highlight this and delete it and change it to Dr. Smith or whoever it might be. And the other information should all be in here correct. But these areas are editable, so you want to be careful to make sure that you're in the correct areas and that you're not changing anything that shouldn't be changed. So if everything is correct under the patient information and the referrer information, then you're just going to skip down to the exam information. So this is where you're going to fill out what you're used to filling out on your requisition. Alright, so I'm going to click here where it says click here to enter a date. And then when I click on that, it's going to give me this drop-down arrow over here. I'm going to click on the drop-down arrow and I'm going to select the date of service. So I'm going to select today's date. And then it's really important that you tab through these, it'll really help you out, I think, instead of clicking. Although you can click, but I think just initially while everybody's getting familiar with this, it might help you to tab through these areas. So once I've clicked on the date, I'm going to click on tab and I'm going to put in my time of service. So this is the time that I was with the patient. So I'll put, for example, that we were with the patient at 4 p.m., but again, this is still military time, so we're going to put 1600 here, and then we'll tab to the next spot. Now this is newer. This is your minutes that you spent with the patient. So if you were with the patient for 45 minutes, then you put 45 minutes there, or 45 there. Or maybe you were with the patient for 30 minutes, you put 30 there, and you can leave it at that. Now we'll tab to the next one, and that's just the tech comments area. If you have any additional notes that you need to put on here to share with the facility, then you can put that on here. Maybe the patient was uncooperative or lethargic or just couldn't, do what you need them to do. You can write a brief note on here, keep it very professional because this is going to go to the facility. But if there's none, then you can just it says none there because that's what I entered under the study info under the clinical notes area. So that automatically generated onto the report here. But if it does say click here to enter text, you at least want to delete that part and just leave it blank. Or you can add additional notes. So maybe we'll take away none and maybe we'll say patient uncooperative. And then we'll put our initials that we left that note. All right, and then from there, we're going to tab to the next spot. Now you want to make sure that everything is not highlighted here. You want to make sure that only the click here to enter text is highlighted. So if the whole thing is highlighted, I'm sorry, like it just was, then you just want to make sure that you click here to enter text again. All right, so the tech initials, is going to be your initials, that you're the one that reviewed this requisition, that you're filling it out, that you did the exam, and that you're completing all of this. So you want to make sure that the tech name is your name and everything else is correct on here. So from your tech initials spot, you can go to you can tab again. And you're going to want to put a check mark or an X in this reviewed order. You can either click on it to put the X there, or you can press the space bar, and that's also going to put an X in that area. And the last part is the number of exams done. And let me just say real quick, with the reviewed order, that means that you looked at the order at the nurse's station, or it may already be, it's probably already in RamSoft because the care coordinators are retrieving that order ahead of time now. So you could look under the documents over here and look at the order. So you just want to mark off that you reviewed the order, that you're doing the correct exam. And then the last area is the number of exams done. You may have done one echo, or maybe you did 3 patients in the same facility. However many exams you did on the patient in the facility, or patients you did in the facility, however many exams you did on this patient is how many exams you're going to put here. For you guys as echo techs, you're only going to most likely be putting 1 exam. At that point, you're done, because the report for echoes is created separately from the cardiologist, on their end of things, so you really don't have to worry about anything else from here. Again, as it says here, it says diagnostic final report for this exam will be received separately. This is noted here because this requisition is going to be shared with the facility, so they have all this information documented and they can put it in the chart. And they like to see how many minutes you spent with the patient and all this type of stuff. So a newer part of the process is going to be sharing this requisition with the facility. So I'll get to that in just a second. But for right now, we're done with everything. We checked out our rec. It's all good. We like what it says. We're ready to share it with the facility. So we're going to go ahead and save, which is this button right up here. All right, and once you've saved it, if you did forget to do something and you need to edit it again, you can just click on this update, and you're able to type on that again, and then you would just click on save. So from here, we want to get this requisition to the facility, and we're going to just right-click over here, and we're going to click on send to. And we're going to click on Fax to New Recipient. And then from here, you're used to this part of things, or maybe you're, as Ecotech, you might not be as used to this, but you would just find the facility. You can search here and they should come up on a drop-down list. You may have to exit out of the report and then come back into it in order to fax this. But anyways, you would just search for the facility here and click on the correct facility and the correct unit, which is automatically going to generate their fax number here. And then you can just copy on whatever came up in your drop down up here and then paste it up in the last name area. Click on send and it'll be on its way. All right, so from here, you can just click on the X to get out of this. And it'll keep it in that same status into completed. And you'll just take your normal process from here with your care coordinator. Maybe some of you might drop it into the verified status for your cardiologist. Others might have the care coordinator help you with some preparation of the paperwork before it goes to the cardiologist from here. But you can work with your manager on the process after this point. So hopefully this was a helpful tutorial. And if you guys do have any other questions or if anything wasn't clear, please feel free to reach out to myself or your manager for more clarification on the process. Thank you. Bye-bye.